Watch any grassroots game and you'll see the same thing over and over again. A kid will lose the ball and then everything stops. They throw their arms up in the air, they look at the referee, they blame their teammates, they freeze ultimately. And whilst they're freezing, the game is carrying on around them and it's carrying on without them. This isn't a motivation problem, it's not laziness, it's not bad attitude, it is a transition problem. And we barely coach it, even though it happens constantly throughout a game. Now, the moment the ball changes hands is chaotic, and especially at grassroots level, it's messy, unpredictable, and it's fast. Here's the mistake that we make as coaches. We try to tidy that chaos up. We stop sessions constantly, we reset play, we over-instruct, but chaos isn't the enemy, it is the teacher. If players only ever experience neat, controlled practices, then the first time the game goes off script, they'll panic. Now, kids don't freeze because they're bad at football. They freeze because they've never been allowed to live in that mess and in that chaotic moment. We need to design sessions with small-sided games, continuous play, minimal stoppages, frequent turnovers, and I'm going to show you one of these later on in the video. Now, where we talk about defending after losing the ball, most coaches jump straight to pressing. But pressing is only one option, and it's not always the right one. What really matters in the first few seconds is support from behind the ball, thinking about who recovers, who delays, who protects space while the nearest player can then apply pressure. Freezing usually happens because players feel alone, they don't see support, and they don't think that support is going to arrive. Now, defending after losing possession is a team problem. It is not an individual one. Now, the reality is the nearest player normally goes and chases the ball, the next player recovers, others protect space, but not everyone charges the ball. That's a chaos without purpose. Everyone has to be aligned in what they are doing. And here's another bit we ignore far too often. Emotions. Losing the ball triggers frustration, sometimes embarrassment, sometimes panic, and emotional spikes can kill your decision making. If a player is angry or frustrated, they don't tend to scan, they might not communicate, they might just dive in or kick someone or just switch off completely. Now, emotional control isn't taught by shouting, "Calm down." It's taught by repeated exposure to uncomfortable moments. If kids experience these moments every session constantly, they'll stop feeling like they're so dramatic and they start feeling normal, and then they can think about how they react in them. If you want players to stop freezing, here's what actually will help them. 1. Stop rescuing them every time it goes wrong. Let the moment just play out. 2. Praise their reactions, not outcomes. So you might say, "Great recovery run." That matters more than saying to someone, "Great tackle." 3. Coach after the action, not during it. That's when the learning will stick. And 4. Design sessions where losing the ball matters but isn't punished. Now, here is a session plan that you can use with your players that I've used all the time that will create and encourage all of these moments to happen, and it also gives you an opportunity to look on how you develop some of their individual skills within that. Now, if you want part 2 of this video, we've broken this down in more detail. It's on Patreon. It's not just ideas, it's full session plans, different constraints, how to coach the few seconds after the moment is lost without stopping play all the time. There's also a second longer YouTube style video on Patreon where we dig much deeper into this. We look at defending as a behaviour, not a phase. What the nearest player does, how support from behind really works, and how to build calm, repeatable reactions instead of panic. This video explains the why. The content we have on Patreon is the how, and the next video will take this even further. So if you want to have a look at our Patreon channel, the link is in the description, and we hope to see you there. So this session is really simple. You set up a pitch and you're going to play a match. Let the players play. If you want to do 2 pitches with 4v4 or 1 pitch of 7v7, 8v8, it doesn't matter. But just set up a pitch and let them play a game. You're going to set a number of challenges on the outside of the area based on your players and what they might need. And what I've done on this one is set up 3 challenges. One is a dribbling through the cones challenge. You might say they've got to do it with their non-dominant foot. They've got to do it a specific way. The square is a keepy up challenge. So they have to do keepy ups in the square. Now, if they're young, it might be allowed bounce, kick, bounce, kick. If they're older, they've got to do a certain amount of keepy ups. And the third one is a coconut shy type practice where they're passing the ball and trying to knock another ball off the cone before they're allowed back in. Now, the way the game works is you play a normal match, but every time someone has a shot, they have to leave the pitch as quickly as possible and complete one of the challenges. Now, you can select the challenge. You could say they've got to do it in a certain order. They've got to do a specific challenge. Whatever way you want to do that, it doesn't matter. But as soon as someone has a shot, whether it goes in, whether the keeper saves it or it goes wide, they have to leave the pitch. Now, what you're looking at is how do the other team react? If two players have a shot, one has a shot, keeper saves it, they spill it, next player comes in, has a shot, both players have got to leave the pitch. And you're going to end up with loads of different scenarios, 5v4, 4v3, 6v5, 6v4. But what we're looking at is what happens in that moment after the ball turns over. Now, if the goalkeeper saves it and the player has to go off the pitch, you've got the extra player. Can you exploit that quickly? Can you play out quickly and take advantage of that extra player? Defending team, you've got a player less. So are you going to go and put pressure on? Are you going to close off space? If the goalkeeper saves it and it goes to a defender, you might put pressure on straight away while the other players secure it. But you're looking at that moment and what you coach. This will create constant turnovers, constant different numbers, and it will test people's reaction speed quickly. Because the players need to do a challenge, you normally get 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds where the moment carries on and they have to figure out what's happening in that moment. Give it a try. Let us know what you think in the comments.